Hi, I'm Keeley Hawes.
Hello, I am Rose Leslie.
And we are one-on-one with Harper's Bazaar. Tell me, I feel like Graham Norton, so tell me, what made you want to take on Jane Austen?
Well, having always had a deep-seated love for Jane Austen, I feel that the cherry on top of the cake was you. So I read the scripts.
That wasn't a leading question.
I know it wasn't. It wasn't a leading question, but in terms of answering it truthfully, I read the first episode knowing that you were already attached. And so the excitement that I had in wishing that the writing was going to be as superb as it ended up being was for me, the cherry on the cake in saying yes. But I already had 2 feet through the door. I already knew that I would want to be a part of this project because you were in it. But with regards to Jane Austen, it was a dual...
A no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Have you always been a fan?
I have always been a fan. From the 1996 version of Pride and Prejudice on BBC, that's kind of where it all kicked off.
Who's your favourite Mr. Darcy?
Well, we know it's Matthew. Untouched. Untouched.
Well. I didn't like to assume. What was it like to breathe fresh life into real people?
Into real people.
Well, a real person.
Yes. Well, I feel like in my own head, I can get caught up on the fact that they existed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I almost do myself a disservice by researching that person to a point whereby I'm then torn whether I'm complimenting the script or complimenting the person who once lived.
Yes. And the responsibility as well.
And the responsibility of that. You're so right, because there is a duty of care that comes to it, knowing, far more so than playing a fictional character, knowing that they were. Yeah, really.
But she's incredibly sympathetic, isn't she?
Very.
I mean, I think they all are, actually.
Yes.
Maybe not Mary, but...
No, Mary's got some work to do on that front.
She has a little bit, but...
she's got some work to do on that front.
And also, these aren't characters that people... it's not like going into The Crown and playing real people who we feel that we know and
who are still
intimately who are still alive.
Yes.
There is a certain amount of free reign, isn't there?
Yes.
When people are no longer
Isabella
with us
is not going to tell me I did a terrible job.
She's not. I think she'd be delighted. When I took this role on, I didn't know about Cassandra. I didn't know about the letters. No, I don't think I am alone.
No,
and
you're
that's
not
what's
alone
really
in that.
great about it, because people don't know this story. They don't know about what Cassandra did.
And who she was to Jane.
And who she was to Jane, how much she meant to Jane,
yes.
and how, possibly without her we wouldn't have...
Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you, Cassandra. Not that we wouldn't have, Jane Austen's work, but she was certainly very important in bringing it to the world.
Why are we still drawn to Jane Austen's life and work, do you think?
They are... I mean, it's extraordinary, actually. It's always really surprising to me that she only wrote 6 novels.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It feels like there's a huge... she feels like Dickens. It's amazing that she only...
wrote 6
of them, and I just think the themes are universal. They're weirdly relatable. It's about relationships and love and life, and
yes.
They're stories that mean something. They're very human. And I had a great conversation with Jill, who wrote the book that Miss Austen is adapted from. She was talking about how actually we read the books these days in a very different way to how they would have been read at the time, because we sort of read them and think, well, they are about love. Of course they are, and they are about those lovely family relationships. But actually the jeopardy for women at that time, it was a real jeopardy. So when I'm reading from Persuasion to you, and you're, we're totally caught up. It is life and death. It's not a matter of, does he fancy her? Does she fancy him? Will they get together? Yeah. There is real consequence to all of it.
Yes.
That we read now in a different way. But it's
of
so
course,
interesting.
because we're slightly removed from it, I suppose. Knowing that it's historical, knowing that it happened 250 years ago. Yeah. You can immerse yourself in that world. But of course, reading it then, during Isabella and Cassandra's kind of lifetime, you're always going to be putting yourself in the character's shoes.
Yes.
Particularly when you've got the affiliation of knowing Jane.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really interesting to look at it with sort of fresh eyes in that way.
Lovely.
I thought.
Keeley, your favourite part of filming, please?
Oh,
Yay! I'll take that. Again, that felt very leading, didn't it?
well,
That felt very leading.
My favourite part of filming, people always say it, don't they? But it absolutely was true in this case that being with everybody and feeling like a company.
Yes.
And you don't in TV you don't really sort of rehearse. You don't have time. You don't. You don't. It's not like doing a play where you're able to build those relationships, and so it's really lovely when you're on set and you are able to just be with the people that you're with and get to know them in a way that you sometimes don't these days with phones and.
That almost with the rehearsal process, that yes, we did sometimes get on set, but the times when possibly we didn't manage to kind of cram in a rehearsal, I felt that the way that we got to know each other, with obviously Jessica and with Miriam as well, lended its hand into our familiarity with one another in the scenes. Yeah. And so what we were unable to kind of gain on set, we kind of benefited from if they were running late, we had another kind of 45 minutes in the green room or whatever. Yeah. And naturally. Yeah.
That was just a really wonderful part of the whole thing.
I'm with you.
Why do you think period dramas have such enduring appeal?
Thinking as to why I will always gravitate towards a period drama, for me, I think it is the comfort of their pace of life. I think it's the escapism knowing that it is so kind of simple. There's a kind of monotony in their simplicity of, we wake up, I don't know, there's like a nice little bowl of water in your room, you splash your face, you go downstairs. I mean, I know I'm talking about a certain aspect of society, and so I'm kind of talking of the households that had servants.
The luxury of
that. So really I'm kind of pinning it on that, more so than other aspects of society. But for me, period drama is an escapism and a slower pace of life, a kind of comfort blanket of simpler times that I want to kind of immerse myself in.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I spoke to Jill Hornby and she was talking about actually how similar Georgian life was to lockdown.
Yes.
And when you realise the parallels, actually I say goodbye, Cassandra says goodbye to Mary towards the end. And she's only going to the next county, but she might never see her again.
That is a one-day drive.
It was a massive journey. Yes, you had to walk. You had to go by, on a carriage or a horse, or you had to, and it took a long time.
Yes.
And it wasn't something that you could just, jump on a train or jump in the car.
Totally.
And so yes, there are lots of parallels with COVID, which again was a simpler time.
Yeah. Why do you think Cassandra destroys the letters? What do you think was in them?
Oh God,
I know.
It's really tricky, isn't it? Because I don't know that there was anything that salacious or particularly in them.
If there was any kind of like malice or gossip, not that it would have come from Jane, possibly you would have felt, oh no, I'm not having any gossip about my sister being put out into the world.
Yeah, I think it was just that her thoughts or feelings or about other people, possibly she didn't want other people to know, how Jane felt about them at the time, because all of those people were still around.
Yeah.
But she was brutal. There are letters I've seen online where the bottom has just been lopped off, gone in the fire.
Yeah, goodbye.
So she was quite. It was an edit. It was an edit. It wasn't all of them. There are some, I don't know, like 30% or something left.
Yes, okay.
But it was a good, clean edit. What she wanted, and very thorough.
You mentioned before, like she's thorough. Like she went into this mission knowing that this is what she kind of wanted to do.
Yeah. And I think it was brave and bold and noble.
Yes.
And I'm sort of glad that she did.
Well, she's untouched, isn't she?
Yeah, and she's untouched, and it makes her legacy about her brilliant work and not about her personal life and thoughts and feelings about other people.
Well
go Cassandra.
Yeah, go Cassandra. Well done, Cassandra. Absolutely. Thank you for watching us.
That was One on One with Harper's Bazaar.